Here's a live shot of Ottawa this morning, much quieter today after police cleared out the protesters in downtown Ottawa this weekend. It was on Friday that police in Ottawa used their authority under the Emergencies Act to move in on a group of protesters in front of Parliament Hill. Those measures have not been approved of in the House of Commons. The debate itself was cancelled Friday due to the eviction of protesters and is due to be voted on tonight. But the conversation continues about the protest and the government's response and what this means for future demonstrations. Joining us live now via Skype from Montreal is Aaron Solomon, Chief Legal Analyst for Esquire Digital. Aaron, good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us on this Family Day morning to talk about this. So we finally saw it after more than 3 weeks of the trucker convoy protests occupying downtown Ottawa. Police from pretty much all over Canada moved in to clear this out. Are you surprised by anything that you saw this weekend? We know that the SIU is now involved in 2 incidences and that bank accounts, over 200 of them, are frozen.
Can anybody around the world who is watching not be surprised about any of it? This is uniquely un-Canadian. As someone who is a Canadian but actually writes about how the law intersects with life in the United States, I can certainly tell you that both north and south of the border were finding it all remarkable.
Yeah, it really was remarkable to see some of the scenes and really the resilience of the protesters. I mean, Ottawa is freezing. And look, they were able to stay out there, camped out in these trucks that had fuel and gasoline. And now the effort is really focused on the cleanup. But I know that security measures are still strong. There's over 100 checkpoints. And police are saying, even Bill Blair, safety minister, saying that it's not over. Life is really not getting back to normal just yet. So I know we're waiting for a vote tonight in the House of Commons about this Emergencies Act. Let's talk about the act, because we know that the bank accounts have been frozen. But do you think that this protest could have been cleared out without the Emergencies Act in place?
That's such a difficult question to answer for 2 reasons. First of all, because we know with the Emergencies Act in place, it was cleared out. Secondly, it seemed like Ottawa and the Ottawa police had plenty of time to do this, but maybe logistically, it was very difficult to coordinate with all that extra help. The reality is the Emergencies Act is going to pass tonight. The Liberals and the NDP together are going to have 184 or 185 votes, and the Conservatives in the Bloc are going to have about 153 votes, which means that until the middle of March, the Emergencies Act will remain in effect. Should it be needed for any other purposes, as you said, that could include freezing more accounts.
And Aaron, what do you think this moment means for Canada going into the future? We saw hate symbols, we saw, forms of extremism, and I think because, look, Ottawa Police Chief Peter Slowly resigned. There was criticism about the lack of action by the police in the beginning over this. So it seems like this whole demonstration is a catalyst for so many things in the country, including talks about defunding the police, including about what the Canadian flag means for Canada now.
It's such an important question, and I think I have a unique perspective on this because in 2020, I returned to Canada after living for approximately 4 years in Berlin. I was living in Germany with the rise of the extreme right. So the things that I saw in Canada over the past few weeks, I really did see through that international lens. I've got to say, it's not a great look for us in Canada. This is certainly true if you look at any of the international press today or over the past few weeks. People feel that, on the one hand, we haven't done enough of a good job here maintaining the rights of the people who were protesting or occupying, depending on your position. Conversely, there is also a position to be had, which I believe is a stronger legal position, that the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, along with the Emergencies Act, has actually upheld all of our rights over the past few weeks. I guess time is going to tell.
Yeah, Aaron, do you think that this protest is going to cause the government to reevaluate when they can invoke an Emergencies Act? Usually, we're moving into the future as times evolve. Don't laws need to evolve with that?
They do. And the ideal situation, since this was the first ever invocation of the Emergencies Act from 1988, that Prime Minister Trudeau would not have needed to invoke it. I think that the bar remains extremely high and needs to remain extremely high for invocation of the act. This is not an everyday thing.
No, it isn't. And, the Canadian Civil Liberties Association said that it can't be an everyday thing, even though this was an unpopular uprising. Let's say it was a popular uprising, one that was more Canadian. Then what do we do in that situation? Would we be so quick to invoke this act? But once again, Aaron, I wish we had more time to talk about this. A very interesting talk. Appreciate you coming on to CP24 Breakfast this morning to chat about this. Aaron Solomon, Chief Legal Analyst for Esquire Digital. Take care.